Hello, I'm the Doctor. Welcome to DoctorGeek. Today, we're doing a recap and review of Series 11, Episode 5, The Tsuranga Conundrum. We open on the junk planet of Cephalon 27, where the Doctor and her companions are busy at work looking for a specific piece of equipment, presumably for the TARDIS. But after 4 hours of searching, Graham stumbles upon a sonic mine, and despite the Doctor's attempts to prevent it, it quickly detonates and injures all 4 of them. They wake up in a hospital very disoriented, and they meet the medics, Astros and Mably, who have stabilized their internal organs after the damage done by the mines. They find out that they are on Tsuranga, which the Doctor recognizes but cannot place, and as she tries to move, she falls, realizing that her injuries are still affecting her. Wanting to find the TARDIS, which is not safe left alone on a junk planet where people come to scavenge, the Doctor fights through her pain and tries to find the exit with her friends. But instead, she stumbles into a room occupied by General Eve Cicero, a military legend with numerous accomplishments to her name, along with her brother, Durkis, and her android servant, Ronan. As they continue on, they run into Yos Inkle, a pregnant man from Giftan. Finally, the Doctor senses the vibrations in the floor and realizes what that must mean. Tsuranga is a spaceship, and she is 4 days from her TARDIS. It turns out that they are on a Tsuranga emergency medical transport ship, and they are on their way to the space station Rhesus 1 with the rest of the ship's patients. As the Doctor tries to speak to the captain, and in doing so realizes that the ship is automated with its course locked, she goes about trying to use her sonic to try and turn the ship around. But Astos helps her realize how selfish she is being, as there are sick people on board who must reach Rhesus 1, and the Doctor, realizing that he is right, stands down. Suddenly, the Doctor notices on a nearby screen that something is quickly approaching the ship, and after a quick shield breach, something comes aboard. With the sensors indicating that something is quickly moving through the ship, the Doctor and Astos decide to split up to investigate. Meanwhile, as Ronan pressures Mably into giving him more adrenaline blockers for General Cicero, Graham catches Durkis trying to break into his sister's medical records, since he knows that she is lying to him about her illness, and he admits to Graham that his famous sister looks down on him for being an engineer. As the Doctor searches the ship, she discovers that one of the 2 escape pods has already been jettisoned, and Astos finds that the creature is in the other pod. But as he goes in to investigate, noting that the internal controls have been destroyed, the creature traps him inside and jettisons the pod. As Astos contacts Mably, he tells her that he's sorry and that he believes in her, before his escape pod explodes. Reaching the pod too late, the Doctor discovers the creature doing further damage to its control panel by literally eating its components, and she is surprised to discover that it is quite small and only a little adorable. As the Doctor scans the creature with her sonic, it eats that too, before spitting it back out. However, the sonic is no longer in working order. Mably takes them all to the ship's databanks, and after syncing her ocular recorders with the computer, they learn that the creature is called a Pating, and its threat level is Chalice, which is only 1 up from Beetroot. The Pating has the ability to eat through any material, and while they are non-carnivorous, they will devour anything non-organic. They are impossible to wound or kill, and their skin is toxic. Now armed with this information, the Doctor needs time to think, and she asks everyone to meet her in 7 minutes' time. As Ryan and Yaz go to collect Yos, he shows them pictures of his unborn child, and tells them that he plans to give up the baby for adoption, which causes Ryan to think about the decisions his own father made. Yaz asks Ryan how his mother died, and he tells her that he found her dead from a massive heart attack when he was only 13 years old, and that his father left soon after. Meanwhile, The doctor is trying to work out how to stop something that's too fast to catch and too toxic to touch, and she wishes she knew what the creature was after. Suddenly, alarms begin to sound, as the ship's sensors have relayed the presence of the Pating to Rhesus 1, who are requesting confirmation of its presence. Knowing that Rhesus 1 will destroy the ship if they believe it contains a threat to the colony, the doctor signals the all clear, but Mabley tells her that that will only stop them for so long, and sooner or later, if the Pating doesn't destroy the ship, the people at Rhesus 1 will. Thus, the Tsuranga Conundrum. With everyone gathered, the doctor explains to them the situation, and General Cicero tells her that she has dealt with a Pating before, and it massacred her fleet. As the power goes down, the general warns them that the Pating will go after the ship's power source next, which Mabley tells them is an antimatter drive, and both the doctor and the general warn that they must protect that drive at all cost. With all the excitement, Yost goes into labor, and he requests that Ryan and Graham join him for his birth, as he needs some male support. And as they go off with Mabley to deliver the baby, the rest of the crew goes after the Pating. Reaching the antimatter drive, the doctor leaves Yaz and Ronan with some stasers to defend it with, and after she denies the presence of the Pating for a second time, she charts a faster course to Rhesus 1 through a minefield, but they will need the general to pilot the ship. The doctor then learns that the general has been lying about her illness, and that she actually has pilot's heart, a disease that causes surges of adrenaline to her heart that could kill her. And as Durkis overhears, finally learning what his sister has been keeping from him, he tells her that he has set up a bypass to pilot the ship. Considering the general's condition, the doctor volunteers to pilot the ship instead, but learning that it takes a dozen years to train in neuropiloting, she relents, allowing the general to take command. Meanwhile, as the Pating attacks the antimatter drive, Yaz and Ronan attack it with stasers, and once it's stunned, they cover it with a med blanket and Yaz kicks it down the hall. Back in the control room, the general is strapped in and takes control of the ship, while the doctor realizes that the Pating is after energy, as that is what it's craving. As she denies the presence of the Pating for a third time, the doctor knows that they are out of time, and she runs off to try and deal with the Pating, realizing that she may only have one option remaining. Reaching the antimatter drive, the doctor tells Yaz and Ronan that if there is a bomb on the ship that Rhesus 1 will use to destroy it, it must be in this room, as that's the only place with the energy to cause such an explosion. And sure enough, she finds it, telling them that she's going to set it off to save them. At the same time, Ryan and Graham act as a moral support as Yost struggles to deliver his baby, and Ryan convinces him that he's going to be a great father to his son. After asking Yaz for a number, 51, she tells her that that's how many seconds she's placed on the bomb's countdown, hoping to draw the Pating to this immense source of energy. As the bomb nears the end of its timer, the Pating appears, and eats the bomb with seconds to spare. The doctor quickly traps the Pating in an airlock, and as the bomb explodes, the Pating happily absorbs all of its energy, and the doctor expels it out into space, hopefully satisfying it for a very long time. As General Cicero struggles to pilot the ship, her heart finally gives out, and she dies. Durkis assumes command of the ship and safely brings them in to Rhesus 1. Yost delivers his baby with no issues and tells Ryan and Graham that he plans on keeping it, deciding to give fatherhood a try, and he names his new son Avocado. Once they dock at the space station, Mabley tells the doctor that after she speaks to the investigators, they will arrange a teleport for her to get back to the TARDIS. And the episode ends as they all recite a space prayer over the body of the fallen general. And now, before my review, here were the best lines from the Tsuranga Conundrum.
I'd say it was more of a volume than a chapter, just so you know.
Oh, by
bad liar must be difficult in your job.
Hey, I'm an excellent liar.
So you were lying then?
I'm the doctor.
Are you kidding?
Sometimes. But not right now. Don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression.
You might be a bad liar, Astos. You've got excellent instincts. Off this ship, back into space, right now, else you'll have me to deal with.
It just sort of ignored you there, Doc.
Got that, thanks, Graham. It's just ain't that Sonic!
Oh, yes, sink the old ocular recorder, it's obvious.
Patini.
Fatigue.
Patini.
On the plus side, I now feel very well informed.
It's gonna kill us all, isn't it?
Oh, Mably, you went there way too quick. I said a puzzle, not a death sentence. Protect the antimatter drive. Snap!
67th.
Oh, nice entry. Bit tricky in the middle. Turns out all right in the end. You talk me through it.
It takes people a dozen years to train.
Oh, I really need to spend more time in the 67th century.
Siobhan Chamberlain with a goal kick for England.
Yes. Maybe. 10 points for Yasmin Khan, and yes, I am keeping score for all of you. Ronan, up your game.
Are you also experiencing comprehension deficiency?
Oh, every day right now, mate. A number of Federalist papers written by Alexander Hamilton. I love that show. I've seen all 900 casts. Oh, please don't be wrong. I'll be so embarrassed. And dead.
In honor of you both, I wanted to call him Avocado.
Okay, so personally, I thought this episode was the best of Series 11 so far. Right from the start of the episode, the tension was high, as by the 2-minute mark, our heroes have already taken a mind blast and woken up in a strange new environment. From there, it's a roller coaster ride, as the Pating arrives and turns an already stressful situation into a nightmare scenario. And adding things like a pregnant man into the mix only added to the insanity. I thought this was a really fun adventure that never lost momentum, and I had a lot of fun watching it. So, let's talk about what worked. First off, this episode had a lot of characters, but almost all of them managed to get a chance to shine. Brett Goldstein as Astos, while only being in the episode for the first 15 minutes, was by far the best guest star, as he managed to be very likable right from the start, and his death scene was one of the best parts of the episode, and it really ramped up the drama very early on. Lois Chimimba as Mably was also really great in this episode, as she struggled to keep calm as the only member of the crew left in a ship under attack, and I thought she conveyed the fear of her character really well. Yoss, the pregnant man, was a very funny addition to the episode, and he added a nice side story to contrast with the ravenous space monster, and also gave us an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Ryan's character. The trio of Eve and Durkis Cicero and their android Ronan was unfortunately the biggest casualty of the bloated cast list, as their characters didn't get the development that they deserved, and when they did get a little bit of backstory, honestly, I didn't really care about it, but when the plot called on them to fill their roles, they did so well. And David Shields as Ronan in particular did a great job of acting like an android. However, as characters, they definitely felt a little unnecessary to the story, and I thought the episode really would have worked pretty much exactly the same without them. As for our companions, it was nice to hear a little bit more about Ryan's backstory, and about his family life growing up. But honestly, with so much going on this week, even the Doctor didn't have as much to do as she normally does. So I don't really have too much to say about our main cast for this week. Story-wise, this was definitely the best paced episode of the season, and it really felt like a classic Doctor Who episode of a base under siege, with a clear objective and a great enemy. I love stories where the Doctor is thrust into a situation and immediately takes charge, and that's exactly what we had here, with a monster that is both memorable and dangerous. The Pating is actually pretty well done, and actually looks a lot better than even the spiders did last week, and I thought the design of the creature as well was a perfect combination of cute and terrifying. The conundrum of the bomb on board was a nice addition, and I enjoyed seeing the Doctor combine her two problems in order to solve them both. It was also a nice twist that they didn't actually defeat the Pating so much as feed it and let it go, as presumably the Pating could have come right back on board the ship had it not been filled up by the bomb. So the bomb was actually necessary to defeating it. So I appreciated that little detail. As for what didn't work, first of all, Tsuranga, Pating? What is with the strange names this episode? All I'm saying is, there's no reason to think up complicated names. Next, the sonic mine at the beginning of the episode was an interesting detail, but it didn't really have any lasting effects on any of our team, with the exception of the Doctor being in a lot of pain for various parts of the episode, but even that really didn't have much weight to it since it never really came to play in a meaningful way. So I just thought it was a bit of a quick fix, and if they weren't going to have them get seriously injured, they didn't need to have them be standing right next to an exploding bomb. But that's really a bit of a nitpick. In fact, all of these are kind of nitpicks, so I'm acknowledging that right from the start. The Pating itself I thought was a really cool villain, but I didn't really understand how it was smart enough to jettison the escape pods, even going so far as to trap Astos in one of them to kill him, yet after that, it seemed to be operating completely at random and had no interest in killing anyone else. That just seemed a little inconsistent, and I didn't really get a good feeling for how intelligent the creature actually was. That, added with the fact that we learned that it doesn't eat organic matter, meant that it lost a lot of its original menace for me, but only slightly. Finally, I really liked how the Doctor lost her Sonic early on, and I thought that it was a good way to get it out of the way for the episode, as they sometimes do to make the Doctor have to work a bit harder in certain situations. But the fact that it self-healed itself just a few minutes later really annoyed me, as it seemed like a plot convenience that was completely unnecessary considering that they wrote themselves into it in the first place. But again, these are nitpicks, and compared to my gripes with the other episodes this season, they are nothing in comparison. So, overall, I really thought this episode was the best of the series, and I hope we get some more stuff like this. The danger was clear and present from the very beginning, the monster was scary, and the ending was satisfying. And that's the first time all series that I've been able to say that. So, for an action-packed episode that never slowed down and delivered us a new, memorable enemy with an annoying name, I give the Tsuranga Conundrum 8 Patings out of 10. So, that was my recap and review for Series 11, Episode 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos every week, and ring the bell so you don't miss a video. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of the episode was, and leave me some ideas for videos that you'd like to see me make in the future. As always, thank you for being my companions on this journey today. I'm the Doctor. Bye for now.